How disgusting and inhumane do you have to be to really kick people when they are down, to even some that can't even do it? Benefit claimants not seeking work are to face mandatory work placements. This is from the BBC, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with an article from the BBC with the headline that benefit claimants are not seeking work are to face mandatory work placements. The benefit claimants who failed to find work for more than 18 months will have to undertake work experience placements under rules planned for late next year. So essentially, this is a form of, I'm going to call it pretty much straight off the bat, allegedly, slavery. There are many reasons why some people are not able to work. There are many factors into it. It's not a case that people are lazy. It's not that people don't care. People do want to work. There are some jobs where they just simply cannot. There are disabilities that may be in a factor to it. There may be mental health issues that they need to address. There also may be relationship issues that they may be looking after a child, or that they don't have enough. There's lots of factors involved when it comes to not working. It is not a case. It is very rarely. It is a minority. It is a small minority. There's no question that there are a small minority of people, and I do apologise, I'm getting a bit of reflux right now. It is a small minority of people that do choose not to work and not to contribute to society. There is that out there. But to make it mandatory, especially to make people work when they get no benefit whatsoever from it, being forced to work in a placement that maybe they don't want to work and they don't get any money for it, that's simply slave labour. That's essentially what it is, against their own will. Now, people should, work experience, the whole point of work experience is to get them eventually into work. But like I said, there's many cases where there are factors where people can't work for whatever reason. And this is punishing people at a time when people need help. It is cruel beyond belief. This is. If they refuse, they will lose access to their benefits for a period, the government says. But the Charity Mind says the use of such sanctions will worsen people's mental health. And as somebody who cares deeply about mental health, I'm furious about this. People for whatever reason have issues, and you're just going to throw them out there for whatever reason. It is part of a new plans to get people back to work, which also sees an extra 2.5 billion spent on career support. Under the plan that would need parliamentary approval, those who solely eligible for the standard universal credit allowance who refuse to engage with the job centre staff or accept work offered them after 6 months will have their claim closed. This means that they will have to go through their application process again if they want to keep receiving benefits or lose access to extras such as free prescriptions and legal aid during that time. Meanwhile, Labour pledged to invest an extra 1.1 billion to cut NHS waiting lists to help get people back to work. According to the Treasury, the number of people not seeking work has risen sharply since the pandemic hurt the economy. It says that there were 300,000 people who have been registered as unemployed for over the year in the 3 months to July. But Vicki Nash from mental health charity Mind says the increase in the use of sanctions is deeply worrying. Evidence has repeatedly shown that they don't work and make people's mental health worse. She added that changes to sick notes will also make it tougher to be signed off from work and could mean that people don't get the time they need to recover. Poverty and mental health problems form a vicious cycle and need to be tackled from every part of government working together. Today's announcement looks like they've come from departments working on different planets, she said. Meanwhile, the number inactive due to long-term sickness or disability had risen by almost 500,000 since the pandemic to a record 2.6 million. Chancellor Jeremy Hunt said many of these people wanted to work, and that with almost 1 million vacancies in the job market, with opportunities are there. These changes mean that there's help and support for everyone to find work, but for those who refuse it, there are consequences too, he added. Anyone choosing to coax on the hard work of taxpayers will lose their benefits. They are way too cold and ruthless on people. Absolutely disgusting is what they are. Under its Back to Work plan, which is part of next week's autumn statement, says the government says it will expand and reform existing career health schemes for people with disabilities, health conditions, or the long-term unemployed, as well as launch new ones. It will also put additional staff in job centres to help claimants struggling to find work. However, it said there would be stricter sanctions for people who should be looking for work but are not. Under the current sanctions regime, such claimants only have a deduction applied to their benefits until they comply with their requirements to meet with a work coach and establish a personal job-seeking plan. The Minister says the new rules would not apply to additional payments for child housing or disability support. Don't apply it for mental health people either. Just going to put that out there. Okay, so they're saying it's not going to be child housing or disability support. Well, you know, they could quietly change that behind the scenes. Allegedly. From late 2024, mandatory work placement trials will be rolled out from people unemployed for longer than 18 months, and benefits will be removed from those who refuse to take part. Digital tools will be used to track attendees at job fairs and interviews under tougher sanction regime. The Secretary of State for Works and Pensions, Mel Stride, said, "Our message is clear. If you are fit and if you refuse to work and if you are taking taxpayers for a ride, we will take your benefits away." Well, you're taking our taxpayer money for a ride. Why don't we, we should take your jobs away, shouldn't we? Just saying. But Liberal Democrats Treasury Sarah Onley said the government seemed more interested in penalising people than helping them get back to work. Separately, Labour has unveiled its own back to work plan with a focus on cutting NHS waiting lists. Since January's waiting lists have risen by 500,000 to a record 7.8, it says. The party has pledged to provide an extra 2 million operations, scans and appointments a year by paying staff an extra run evening and weekend clients. The plans will cost 1.1 billion to be paid by abolishing the non-dom tax status, recruiting 8,500 more mental health professionals, and introduce changes to incapacity benefits to encourage disabled people and people with health conditions to try and work without the fear of losing their income or having to reassess if their job does not work out. That's exactly how you should be doing it. You need to be doing it in a way that's going to be comfortable for them and not just force them in against their will. Introduce a new statutory duty that will require job centres to work in partnership with organisations including the NHS to tackle the root causes of worklessness. Labour's Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves told the BBC Labour have committed to getting rid of the non-dom status. If you make your home in Britain, you should pay your taxes here. Under Labour, you will. We will put that money into crediting every year an additional 2 million appointment scans and operations on our National Healthcare Service so we can get to those waiting lists down, getting people treatment they need and get them, in many cases, back to work. Like I said, you can't, you must not punish those who have legitimate reasons that they cannot work. Legitimate reasons. And it should not, and it should be done in a way, it should not be forced upon them so harshly. This whole, it's just even more, the advocation for a universal basic income could not be more apparent. We really do need a UBI. We really, really do. Not just in the UK, but on a grander scheme. So that people are able to go back to work in their own accord, as if rather than just being pushed into it against their will, or pushed into a job or work placement against their will in something that they're not comfortable with or not happy with, and they just don't think of humans as humans. They just think of them as numbers. That's all they think of them. This government cares about. They just see us as numbers, statistics. That's all they think of us. They don't think about the human side, the emotions, the feelings. They don't think about any of that. No, we're just nothing but numbers. If it was up to them, they'd write numbers on the back of our heads saying this is number blah 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 blah. That's how they see us. They don't care about us. They really don't. Put the human side of it into this. Now, Labour have said that obviously they're going to show to show that, but people should not be punished for choosing not to work. They should not, in my opinion. They should be encouraged to work, but they should not be pushed, forced against their will into it. They should be encouraged, and if they can't be encouraged, then look at the reasons why they can't be encouraged. Look at, okay, what can we do to help get you into work, that maybe not taking you out of your home. Maybe we could do you something on the computer, something like that. There's all sorts of ways around it. So those discussions need to be made. But what do you guys think? Are you as angry as I am about benefit claimants not going to face mandatory work placements, being pushed out of their homes, pushed to have work on them that they don't need or want, against their will, essentially? Slave labour, I want to call it, allegedly. Let me know down in the comment section goes below what you guys think of it. Hit the like button, be greatly appreciated. Share across social media, hit the bell notification icon so you'll be notified of when I go live. And if you want to financially support me, you can buy me a coffee in the link down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.